You know that old saying, cleanliness is next to godliness? Would you believe the Vikings had a similar philosophy? That fate and washing your ass were intertwined. In fact, the English cleanliness is next to godliness crowd thought the ancestors bathed too much. Per the medieval English chronicler John of Wallingford, the Danes made themselves too acceptable to English women by their elegant manners and their care of their persons. Yada yada yada. They laid siege to the virtue of the married woman and persuaded the daughters of even the nobles to be their concubines. Yes, some of the ancestors were named Thorfinn Skull Splitter and Eric Bloodaxe, but they weren't all unwashed barbarians. Fun fact, the term barbarian refers to people who can't speak Greek, but no one goes through the stories or combs the lore. For characters like Sithric Forkbeard, known for his meticulous facial hair, or someone like Olaf the Peacock, known for his bright-colored clothing and charisma. It was a societal custom to brush your hair, teeth, clean your ears, and all kinds of other personal hygiene habits. Some of you ignore. Wash that ass. A lot of folks think the ancestors are like the 13th warrior, which is derived from the writings of Ibn Fonlan. No one talks about how they were in transit. Or like when I was in the airborne infantry, the field, where we would take baby wipe baths. We're the tip of the spears. The hot showers hadn't got there yet. But you better believe we were still required to meet shaving reg. Yeah, because that's important. Better brush your teeth, or you're going to be non-mission deployable. Wouldn't want to meet your maker looking like a ate-up soup sandwich. And it was this inappropriate chain of thought that led me to an old stanza quote from the saga. In the Poetic Edda, specifically the Regismal, it states, "Combed and washed every thoughtful man should be, and fed in the morning. For one cannot see where they'll be this evening. It is bad to rush headlong before one's fate." I.e., make sure you eat and wash your ass because you might die by the end of the day. Wouldn't want to be in front of whatever God's hall you're in front of looking like a slob. Kinda makes me rethink all those times my Nana used to tell me to make sure I went out in clean underwear. Doesn't it? Crap. I miss that lady. Sad. Speaking of sad, remember that story of Balder? Well, his brother Vali was so sad that he refused to wash his hair or hands until he avenged his brother. That's how aggrieved he was in a society where they were required to do this every day in some way, shape, or form. Well, they bathed once a week with a communal one on Sundays, which is mentioned in the saga, and they took sponge baths from time to time. And since the consensus is that's what you were going to look like when you passed into the afterlife, well, that's a big sacrifice. Looking like a fool for eternity if he did not avenge Balder. Can you imagine having spinach stuck in your teeth for all eternity for everyone to point out forever? Regardless of station of income, the societal construct was you must look your best, because that's how you're going to look by the end of the day if you don't make it home. Warriors, or what they called Drengr, would bathe before battle if they could, and they even washed their dead. Were the Danes there to seduce the wives and daughters of the Englishmen? Or were they just looking their best, like they do every day? So should they shuffle off this mortal coil, they'll look their best. I don't know. PSA, wash your ass. Just something to think about, and I'll see you next time.